Hi there guys, welcome to simplyhike.co.uk. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Vango Kalu V 400 tent. This tent sleeps up to 4 people, so it's a great little starter tent for young families and stuff. It's a pretty good tent for that. The dimensions are 410 by 260 by 200 centimeters head height, so got quite a lot of headroom in there, so that's a pretty good feature. Pack size is 65 by 29 by 29 centimeters, so it's quite small, which means you'll be able to get it in the back of your car as well. It's a pretty cool feature. And it weighs only 12.45 kilograms. Pitching size, apparently 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the outside, shall we? It's 4,000 hydrostatic head, so it's perfect for summer in the UK and Europe. As long as you've pitched it and you've pegged it properly, made sure it's nice and taut, you shouldn't have any issues with the waterproofing whatsoever. Now the tent itself has a mixture of poles. You have at the front here, you have a mixture of the PowerFlex poles, so they're fiberglass, so they're nice and lightweight, but they can take a beating as well, and they're quite flexible. So yeah, that's a good thing to have, especially at the front part. In the rear of the tent, there is basically one steel pole that solidifies the tent, that goes across like that. That basically holds the back part properly and makes it more structured. So with the mixture of poles, you get a pretty good hold on a tent, even on a windy day like today. It's looking pretty solid. You've got obviously 2 large windows on the side there. So you've got one this side, you've got one on the other side, and you obviously have 2 windows on the front there. So it's going to be letting a lot of light in, especially in the porch space that we've got there. It's going to be quite nice, quite nice and quite well lit, should we say. You have ventilation sides as well on the sides to bring the ventilation in to make it all nice and cool on the inside of the tent. Let's take a look at the inside, shall we? Right, so I'm inside the tent itself. Obviously, as you can see, this tent's got an extension. Obviously, that does not come with the tent, that is a separate purchase. But it's up here today just to show you how the actual unit itself works. Obviously, you've got quite a nice porch space, but it's all about the height. So with the extra canopy on the side, you've got 2 meters worth. So as you can see, it follows it very nicely all the way through. So getting that extra attachment, to be fair, for the space is probably going to be a very good shout. Let's have a look at the sleeping area, shall we? Now obviously this sleeps up to 4 people, so you can get 2 people this side and obviously 2 people that side. It's quite nice. Obviously you do have a divider there. That's only toggled, so you can have 2 separate sections, or you can have it as one big space. Now also what you can do with the tent is it enables you to have 2 double air beds in there as well, and they will fit in there nice and comfortably. As standard that you get with the Vango tents, you do have the mesh back obviously at the back of the tent. Now that works with the ventilation, because obviously this is a sealed unit, a sealed tent, so that will help with the ventilation. Obviously, because they've allowed you to have a divide, you do have 2 zips separate for separate entries to 2 different areas. It's a nice little feature. Yet again, you've obviously got the mesh for the breathability, but then obviously you do kind of have the privacy shade as well. So it means, if you're sleeping in separates, that sort of thing, you don't want the light coming in. It basically makes your sleeping a lot more comfortable for you as well. Right, let's talk about the living space. It's quite small. If you think, obviously, with the tent without the actual porch itself, the living space is probably big enough for a couple of chairs and maybe a small table. But other than that, it is quite a small tent. You get quite good ventilation and light from the sides anyway. Also, the windows obviously are privacy windows. So all you've got to do is roll these up, and they basically attach to the inner part of the tent, so at night time just basically keeps it, and keeps it all secure, all snug, and stops the light in the morning coming through. You obviously have the 2 ventilation parts at the side of the tent, and obviously you're talking about the one in the rear. Now what that does, it enables the air to ventilate throughout the tent. Because this is a sewn-in ground sheet, if you shut off the vents when you go to bed, the ones at the front and the one in the back, you'll get condensation. So you'll wake up in the morning and you'll see little droplets on the top of the roof and even on the top of the inside of the sleeping area. And this is due to the fact that you haven't vented the actual tent itself. That's a very common mistake people do make, thinking, oh no, my tent's leaking. It's not. If you keep the vents open on the sides and in the back, allow the cool air to go through at all times, you won't have any issues like that whatsoever. For any more information, please visit us at simplyhike.co.uk.